here with my friend's place here. Gonna get some soil. But before we get that soil, let's grab some of this, like, you know, see all these debris here, these bark pieces and rotted pieces of wood. Those are gonna be useful down the road. In a second, I'll show you what we're gonna do with those. They're gonna be a nice touch to these raised beds. There you go. These pieces are going to be some helpful stuff. Kaboom! This is good stuff. It's all combined with all kinds of leaf litter and clay and topsoil. It's a good combination right there. That's some good stuff right there. All right, let's head out. Getting all this all dug out about 3 inches, 4 inches down. Alright, we have those all about halfway. I've been digging through here. Now let's step back. I'm going to show you where I'm going to dig next. Pathway will come right through there, come around, finish up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that off and dig it down about 3 inches. Making progress around here. I'm gonna dig this out just a bit more to about 4 inches more, so that it can have room for these stones to go along the edge, and then within that will be the flagstone and the pea gravel. So let's go ahead and dig that out. Alright, I've still got all that soil to offload, and we have all this good stuff in here. I'm going to spread more of this down that way, and that is all cut out. I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah, it's all cut out, ready to go. Next steps are to put the fabric down, and then bring in the pea gravel and the flagstone. First flagstone, then pea gravel around it, and the border made out of the stones that are over this way. these stones right here. Those will be the border. When it comes to raised beds, the reality is you have a situation where the sides are wooden, usually wooden. It's not always wooden, but if it's wooden, or you might be using some center blocks or different types of material like that. The reality is when the sun hits the side like that, it's heating it up and it's causing evaporation. So what you run into is the soil inside your beds starts to dry out on the edges. I mean, it's just a reality of how it is. It's going to happen. But one way to counteract and fight against that evaporation and that drying out of these raised beds is to build the soil, number one, using like higher organic matter soil, because that means the organic matter is going to hold that moisture. Also, try to use some clay. The clay will hold that moisture as well because it's so dense. But also, and this is the hack I've got for you, is you can use pieces of wood in the bottom of your bed, and those will act like a sponge. They will hold that moisture. As they decompose, they will start to become like a sponge. Like I was digging here earlier for this job, and I found these roots that had been here for a little bit decomposing. And if you grab one of these, you can see this piece of wood? This was here, you dug it out, it's one of those roots. And if I squeeze this, look at that, it's got water in it. Also, while these decompose, these pieces of wood decompose, they are actually seeping nutrients into your raised beds, and the plants above, when they shoot those roots down, those roots are going to find those nutrients and they're going to bring them up back to the top. Now, there's a few things you want to watch out for using these pieces of wood. Now let me show you. See, this wood right here has got all kinds of fungi and lichen and fun stuff growing on it. And that means also that whenever I put this in here like that, that is actually inoculating this bed with beneficial fungi and probably some bacteria, but mostly fungi. So as we add these pieces of wood, even the bark, you know, here we got the bark, we got all these different pieces. These are inoculating the soil with beneficial fungi. Got this soil in here. I'm gonna go ahead and spread it around. This is all part of a practice called hugelkultur. Hugelkultur, that is a German word for wood culture. And basically what it is trying to recreate some of the scenario that we see out in forests. In forests, you see, you know, a tree dies, falls down, boom, hits the ground, all the leaves and stuff decay first, and then the branches, and then you have the tree stump, or the root and all the big main trunk, and that takes a little while to break down. And what happens is, if you look underneath those trees like that, there's all kinds of soil life, all kinds of microbes just thriving. You see all kinds of mushrooms. See that right there? See, I mean, looking at these, we have so much fungi, big piece right there, that is starting to break this down. I mean, we're talking probably hundreds, if not thousands, of types of fungi that are helping to decompose these big old chunks of carbon. When we put these in our raised beds, what we get is we are bringing in some of the benefits of the forests out there. Because the forest, if you ever go out into a forest, usually it's not very dry. Usually there's quite a bit of soil moisture that's retained because it has this top layer of wood and leaves, litter, and all this huge web of mycelium, basically the roots of fungi. So that's what we're doing here. We're trying to add some of the benefits of the forest into our raised beds. Now, if you're going to do this, I would definitely not let these pieces of wood touch the outsides, especially if they're wooden, because that's just going to decompose your wood out here that much faster. So make sure you have a buffer of about 6 inches to a foot within. Also, you don't want to put these too shallow. I still have about 18 inches to build up. So I'm putting these about 18 inches to 2 feet below where my surface is going to be. And that way as soon as she starts digging, she's not going to hit these. So when she waters, it'll be a sponge and they will start feeding the nutrients and the soil moisture of the whole bed. Just look at all that fungi, all different types. It's going to be awesome for this bed. There you go, looking good. Got that down there. I could honestly add more, I just don't have more with me, but you can put a solid, you know, pretty solid layer in there. You could also put large pieces of wood, like whole trunks in there. Okay folks, right here we have some leaf mold topsoil mixture. So you see that? See, it's got all kinds of leaf mold and decomposed compost from 2 years ago. That started 2 years ago. Has some leaves from this past season. And then it's got this topsoil which has some clay materials in it, but mostly like topsoil materials. So that's a great combination for what we're needing in the top layer here. Trying to bring in some nice organic matter, especially towards the top. Then in the top layer, we're going to be doing some mushroom compost. Oh, it smells so good. Yes.
Oh. And summer ones, they last about 3 months.
Is it like kaboom, that is empty now, and there it is right there. Got one more wheelbarrow load. I'm going to pile in here, then we'll level it out. The last little bit of time here, let's go ahead and work on getting this fabric down. I've got these stones here that she already had here. Miss Debbie already had here, so those are going to be the borders. Going like that along both sides, and then in between that is the flagstone with pea gravel in between, almost as like the spacers. Alright, this is the fabric I'm using. It's permeable. It kind of has all those fabrics woven through. And this is going to allow water to go through, but not the weeds to pop up through. Also, I don't want the pea gravel to just squish and sink down into this soil here, which it's not going over the whole thing. I'm just ready. Might as well make a kite. There we go. Got them done. Everything together. Next time we come back, we should be able to finish everything up. Lord willing. Yeah, we have some walkways coming in. Good times, everybody. Good times. Thanks for watching the Garden Guy channel. And yeah, we'll see you next time.